Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Tim Packer. What I want to talk to you about today is about the kind of the work ethic that's required to achieve success as an artist. And I'm going to tell you something that may shock you, and that is that if you have a passion for art and you are willing to do whatever it takes to succeed and work as hard as you need to, then I'll say there's a very, very good chance you're going to be able to do it. And it doesn't matter where you're starting at right now. We all start at various skill levels, but we all start as beginners. The thing that really separates those who achieve success from those who don't is the amount of work they're willing to put into it. And I'll tell you how I came about this. I started as a young kid drawing and painting. I took commercial art in high school. I took graphic design in college. I came out of college and worked for 2 years as a graphic designer, ended up getting laid off, 3 different jobs in a 2-year period in the recession of the early 80s, and finally just decided, you know what, this dream of mine is not going to happen. I needed to find a job that was going to give me a steady paycheck. The Toronto Police Force was hiring, and on a whim I went down, put in an application, and that began an 18-year kind of sidetrack for my career as a police officer. And I gave up my dream of doing what I loved to do something that I liked. I was still very happy going to work as a police officer, but I dreamed of, of being an artist, and always felt that I had somehow kind of failed in that dream. And came to believe that, well, it only happens to special people, people who have a gift, people who have somehow been, anointed with the wand of this great gift of creativity. They could have a career in art. But just me, just kind of Joe Schmo, no chance of that happening. And it's important to note too that every class that I took, there was always someone in there who was better than me. And I just thought, well, maybe I don't have what's required to make it. And so fast forward, I'm in my 30s, I'm in the police force. I had a very successful career going there, but I started to get interested again about getting back into painting. And so I was reading different books and articles. I read a book by Louis Lehrman. It was called Becoming a Successful Artist, which is exactly what I was interested in doing. And what he did was he interviewed a number of artists who were successful about the path that they took to get there. And I mean, there was a lot of really good information in there, but the thing that really struck me was the interview with Harley Brown. Harley Brown's, he's a Canadian artist who he lives down in Scottsdale, Arizona now. You may recognize him from his monthly articles in International Artist magazine. He's a really, really smart guy and a really, really fabulous painter in both oils and pastels and other mediums. But anyways, in this article, Harley said it's not about talent. He was very emphatic. It's not about talent. It's not about some gift. It's just all about how hard you're willing to work to achieve your success. And not only how hard you were willing to work, but whether or not you were willing to do the things you needed to do to continually advance and improve your art. And he said in this article, he said, if you're willing to do whatever it takes, he didn't say that it was very likely you'd succeed. He said 100% he would guarantee that you would achieve success as an artist. And I remember reading this and thinking, like, that's crazy. It's not just about work. This is the creative field. It has to do with this gift and inspiration and all of this stuff. And I thought it's easy for him to say that. He's probably one of those gifted people. And that's how he achieved his success. And yeah, he says it's all about hard work, but I'm sure he had the gift. But a little voice in the back of my head just, said, what if he's right? What if he's right and it's just about hard work? What if you have what it takes? You've just never fully committed yourself to it. You've never given 100%. And what if you could one day achieve that dream? And how are you going to feel at the end of your life if you sit there questioning, why didn't I try it? So I made a promise to myself right then that I was going to assume that Harley Brown was right, that it was all just about hard work, and I was going to dedicate the next year to fulfilling that. And so what was I going to do? I thought, well, I'm going to make it a regular practice to draw and paint at least 3 times a week. And I'm going to identify where there are weaknesses in my skill set or my conceptual knowledge, and I'm going to do everything I can to improve those and make them strengths. I'm going to start entering juried shows. I'm just going to do all the things that I knew were required to advance a career in art. And something amazing happened. Once I fully embraced this, it was like the world got into lockstep with me. It's actually a term they call synchronicity, which is when you're doing exactly what you should be doing, the world seems to just flow along with you. and things just took off for me. Within 4 years, I was elected as a member of the Canadian Society of Painters in Watercolor. I was a senior signature member of the Canadian Institute of Portrait Artists. I had my work in galleries. I had won a number of awards. I'd been in a number of international juried shows. And it got to the point where my wife and I had a conversation after I just had a very successful studio open house. And my wife Diane said to me, we need to have a talk, not about if you leave the police force to paint full time, but when you leave the police force to paint full time. So this was in 1999, and with the coming of the millennium, we thought, what perfect timing, what a perfect time to make a break. So at the end of December in 1999, I resigned from the Toronto Police Force, cashed in my pension, and became a full-time artist. What's important to note, though, is I didn't experience overnight success. There was a 5-year process of me searching, trying to find my own voice until I could really make a go of this. But around 2005, my current style started coming out, and the response was overwhelming. I mean, I loved the process of creating the work. I loved the finished work. And the very first show that I did was a Toronto Art Expo, and I had about 30,000 in sales in the course of the weekend. And I just knew that my life had changed, and I've kind of never looked back. And so here I am now, 15 years into my professional career. I've got galleries across Canada carrying my work. I've got galleries in the US. I'm in corporate and private collections around the world. I have a demand for my work that I'll never be able to meet. My galleries are always calling me for more work, and I always seem to be behind in that. We do published prints that are sold around the world as well, and I'm basically just living the dream. And it turns out Harley Brown was right. It's all about hard work. I was, the most important thing to take from this is, people say to me all the time, now, oh, you're so lucky you have this gift. It's like, I was not gifted. When I was in school, I was just another kid in the art class who liked to draw. There were always people who were better than me. Now, I've achieved a very high degree of skill as an artist. I know all the technical stuff, I know all the conceptual stuff, and I've been able to create my own voice. But the important thing is it all just came about from hard work. Not only working hard, but working smart, and being totally honest with yourself about, what things you need to improve. So, if you're not very good at drawing, you need to learn how to draw. If you don't know color theory, you need to learn color theory. All of this kind of stuff. But anyways, yeah, it's all about hard work. So if you share this dream and you're willing to do the work, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say what Harley Brown said. I guarantee you, if you do all the things you need to do, you can fulfill your dreams and live the life of a successful professional artist. So anyways, that's all I have to say about that. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.